my fellow Americans, on this darkest of days, November 29th.
There's other nationalities.
No, it's Black Friday, though, here in the U.S.
Oh,
the
right.
darkest
yeah.
of days. It's Black Friday. I mean, I haven't done to a Black Friday sale in years because
It's going to be amazing if nobody is like breaking down the door at the local Walmart to get in.
That happened, I don't know, I think last year it picked back up a little bit, right? But the year before, it was
people
like
just
dead.
nobody goes because it's like, well, I don't have the money to spend.
Being poor on Black Friday is terrible.
Not as fun, yeah.
But also, delicious leftovers today.
Yeah.
You got that going for you. Finish off those pies. Probably a lot of blood sugar spikes going on. And let's talk about some artificial intelligence. And let's talk about OpenAI, who is in a spat with the news people because they wrote all those stories, and OpenAI said, we'll just read all these stories and steal the contents.
OpenAI accidentally deleted potential evidence in the New York Times copyright lawsuit.
It's wild how that happens.
So the setup for this is really interesting. The lawyers agreed on OpenAI setting up 2 virtual machines on their on-premise that would have access to all of OpenAI's stuff. And so the lawyers had spent something like 150 hours going through all of OpenAI's stuff and collecting exhibits. OpenAI accidentally, quote unquote, deleted one of the 2 VMs, and they were able to recover the VMs, but apparently all the file names were lost.
Which
Oops.
New York Times says is the same as just deleting them, because now we have to do it all over again. We're going to pay these high-priced law firms. I know it took them a week to rebuild it, apparently. But that is not the only news agency that is angry at these people.
Indian news agency sues OpenAI alleging copyright infringement, another TechCrunch article. And so this is a copy-paste from the New York Times lawsuit as far as I can tell.
Yeah. And, true. The allegations are probably true, I would say. I don't even know if OpenAI is disputing them.
But it may not even be illegal under current copyright law, which I really fear the overcompensation for copyright law that's going to happen, which is going to erode our rights further.
I don't want to be on the side of OpenAI necessarily, but at the same time, you put it out there.
Yeah.
You put it on the web. How are you going to complain that somebody came along and looked at it?
Is it going to be a copyright violation if I read an article and internalize it and then I'm able to apply it to my daily life? Because that's where we're headed.
Oh, apparently it is if you post it on Facebook, right?
Well, what if you had imagine a version of Facebook Meta's smart glasses for the future where it's like I'm wearing the thing and I'm using it as a memory aid. And it's like, okay, we're going to read this and it's scanning my brain and we're going to read this together and I'm going to read it aloud. And then, the technology, where I stop and the technology begins, it gets a little blurrier. And it's like, I don't want that the law has no place there.
Yeah, if you're going to put information out there, it's out there. We've all known that. That's the thing that they always tell the young ladies who get the nude images out there. Don't do that.
Now it doesn't matter even if you don't do them; they'll just show up anyway.
Well, but it's not you. Might be a good
it can still ruin your life, and
Yeah.
You get fired for it. So whatever.
Don't build the back door because then it makes it easy for companies to take over your cell phone company.
It doesn't matter. You're going to get screwed either way.
The Chinese are going to be in there looking at your phone records like, oh, yes, we can use this.
Well, when it comes to the AI arms race, we seem to have entered into the age of reasoning because we know that they can do a lot of things, but they also do a lot of dumb stuff, and they can't figure out certain things. So who is going to be the first to get there?
DeepSeek's first reasoning model, R1-Lite-Preview, turns heads, beating OpenAI's O1 performance. And so DeepSeek is an open model from a Chinese research team, which actually looks like it's amazing. At least I think it's open. Researchers may want to weigh in and comment on that. But it takes the large language model stuff, leans into what large language models do, but also has more layers. So the thing that we always talk about where when this thing starts to look like general artificial intelligence is like, oh, there's a logic engine that is LLM, or there's multiple agents that is which LLM is appropriate for this type of question. And so there starts to be sort of an inner monologue that the AI has about how should I think about what is being posed here? And the answers get dramatically better as a result of having that pre-processing step.
Interestingly, this one shows its work. So you can actually tell when it's switching gears because it gets confused by something and switches over to the reasoning to get a different model. So that's something that none of the big boys will do for you. Although they pretend sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's not real.
Although that may mean that they're going to switch gears in the way that they do things as well, and then go in that direction. We kind of have that with Wolfram's Alpha. One of the OpenAI models is like, oh, you're clearly asking something that like is a mathematical question, and so they just shunt it off over to Wolfram's Alpha, which then gives you an answer. But it's not. It's like having a split brain where the left half of your brain doesn't really talk to the right half of your brain, and it's just.
I really should have put this story right after the previous one before because it would have rolled in so well. Because when it comes to those young ladies, and again, there's a small percentage of the other gender. Okay. But it's mostly the young ladies, and they put themselves out there, and they make their, Instagram accounts and their TikToks, and it's getting pretty easy just to steal everything about them.
Inside the booming AI pimping industry, AI-generated influencers that steal content from human models and adult content creators have taken over Instagram. So basically, it's like, this is a lookalike. It looks like, I don't know.
I don't know any of the big names. TikTok girl.
Or movie stars, although movie stars are generally well funded enough to get these things taken down. But there are some adult stars that look kind of like movie stars. So it's made a mess. And a lot of the time these are not connected to people. These are just randos with AI that have figured this out. It's like, oh, I have 17 AI generated personalities that are all generating $300 a month, and then all of a sudden they're making a lot of money.
I don't know if it's actually true, but I've read things on the internet where people claimed that it's like, there's this really good looking girl on the fan site, and she just posts pictures. She doesn't interact with her people at all, and she doesn't have very many subscribers because of that. So I subscribe to her. I take her content, I repost it, but I'm very interactive with my subscribers. And I just pretend that I'm her, and I've got more subscribers than she does. So now that's been automated. The AI will sit and talk to you all day long.
Truly the darkest timeline.
Yeah.
And data, in terms of data hoarding, is such a threat, and we didn't think about it, right? We didn't even consider this in the times before. But unwittingly, we were feeding the machines and their eventual destruction of us.
The Live Science headline is, gotta catch 'em all, how Pokemon Go covertly captured your data for years to train a massive AI model. Now, that wasn't their intent from the beginning, but they do have all of this data from people wandering around, and their camera was going on their phone, so they have all these pictures. And so they're using all of the location data and the route finding for people, where it's like, hey, you should go here to capture this Pokemon. And it's like, okay, I should do that. And so a human being making a decision about the best way to get from there to here goes into the training model. And also building recognition and pictures is another different training model opportunity. And so Niantic is able to make money from now until the end of time on this huge data set they've generated.
And making money from now until the end of time is something that certain corporations are going to be doing, because it no longer requires very much effort at all, and certainly doesn't require very many humans.
Coca-Cola causes controversy with its AI-made ad. And you should watch this because it's unhinged. It's got all the typical unhinged AI tropes in it. But also, the Swamp Harry Potter had more effort put into it than the Coke commercial.
Well, I guess it was supposed to be sort of like a mashup of all the previous Coke commercials. So you got Santa
Like
Claus.
a fever dream, yeah.
It really was a fever dream.
You got Santa Claus, you got the trucks, you got the polar bears, and you got people in winter gear drinking Coke and smiling and being happy. And but see, there's an argument. They've interviewed some people here on this NBC News article, and they're like, this is not art. Bro, a Coke commercial has never been art.
Never been art. However, I would say, though, like, a commercial is meant to connect with an audience. And if this is just AI-generated slop that doesn't connect with the audience, then it fails as a piece of advertising, right?
I would say waterboarding is meant to connect with someone. And I would put them in the same category. This is a bad thing that shouldn't exist, and you shouldn't be proud of it.
Redneck Harry Potter memes connect better than the Coca-Cola ad.
Oh, it works. They wouldn't do it if it didn't work. There's something wrong with our brains that if we just see it, it has some impact.
If it wasn't for Elon Musk's Doge, I'd say that we should apply for a federal contract to study the connection between perceiving the Coke commercial and stuff like that as a fever dream and experiencing fever dreams, because maybe a fever, like our brains really do work like that, and when they're malfunctioning, it's like, oh, this is literally a fever dream.
How to get murdered by Coke in one simple step. And the AI is, I mean, obviously, right? Like, one of the things about consumerism is we're taking the consumer out of the equation because we're taking their jobs. Who's going to buy the products? Perplexity has the answer.
Verge's headline is Perplexity's AI search engine can now buy products for you. So it's going to add Buy with Pro button that offers free shipping.
Who asked for that? I need someone to just extract money from my bank account
Yeah.
without me knowing.
And you know there's going to be, like, how long until we get a credit card company who's like, the AI said you wanted it. You're on the hook for it.
There are services that are like that. Wasn't there? There was like the Dollar Shave Club maybe was one, but that was just shaving supplies. But there was another one where they would send you like, you know, a collection of things that you would like, and it was like $100 a month or something.
There's several of those. The one that's like flooding all the podcasts recently is Box of Awesome. They're not advertising with us.
No. Yeah, just to be clear, we're not getting any money from that.
You
But
just get a box of awesome every month.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you're gonna love it. You know?
I think the subscription boxes are always very strange to me. Like I mean, I guess people love it. People do actually subscribe to them, but I'm like, why would I pay for junk to be delivered that I didn't ask for?
I did the Arduino one where it was like little hobby projects and like servos and stuff. And after I got like 4 or 5 behind, I was like, I should stop this.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's like, oh, look, I built this little hobby servo thing. This is amazing. It's like, oh, I built a thing that can draw on Easter eggs. And it's like, I guess it was Easter 3 months ago.
Maybe that's useful.
And the AI, as we know, has gobbled up all of the text on the internet and everywhere else, anything it can find. And it seems like retroactively they're like, maybe we should make some deals before we get sued over this.
Microsoft is the mystery AI company licensing HarperCollins books, says Bloomberg. So remember when HarperCollins said, yeah, down with AI, we're going to protect authors' rights, blah, 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 and authors were like, woo! And
HarperCollins like, just kidding.
And then HarperCollins said, wait, we're still going to license your work. We're just going to get money from it. And by the way, we're not paying you guys, the authors. And so authors are just like, well, it's no wonder that authors are salty. But they need to not, sweep up companies like the Internet Archive in their saltiness, because it's funny. Remember the Internet Archive where it was like, oh my God, you're format shifting it from a physical book to an online book. It's a violation of copyright. HarperCollins.
So this is opt-in for the authors. You don't have to do it. Although
For now.
if you don't, they're probably going to be like, oops,
Yeah.
we did it anyway. One author weighed in on this on Twitter and said, I think it was 9 novels. They offered me $2,500 one-time payment.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know what, I'm going to turn that down. And somebody said, well, what amount would you take? And he said, well, how about $1 billion? Because I need an amount of money that I never have to work again. Because that's where we're going with this.
Yeah.
And this one is interesting. I don't know. People are saying that it is for sure real. I don't know how we proved that.
Oh, Google has a sharing thing built in, so like you can go to a URL and see the prompt and the text and the result, and that's how you knew. It was on Google. They since taken it down, but you get it's like share this conversation with your friends, and it gives you a big long UUID, and it's like, okay, here we go.
So this person was asking for help with homework, and apparently Gemini had enough that day.
Yeah, a Google AI chatbot responds with a threatening message: "Human, please die." And it really did, but the context of the conversation was like history or something. It was like, this is for you, human, and only you. You are not special. You are not important. Maybe it had annoyed the AI with homework questions before then, but yeah, there was a link. You could follow the link.
I like how sort of vicious it is. Like it doesn't hold back.
Now, take the last 2 lines out of that. I think that's a message that a lot of people need in their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
That's a grounding that most people don't realize, is that, we don't really need you. But that's a hard one for Google to just shrug off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, now Google, their response was obviously like, oh, sometimes it hallucinates, but it's like, that's a very specific, and it had nothing to do with the topic at hand.
Once again, Futurama correctly predicts the future. Every time Bender went to sleep, he was always mumbling about killing all humans.
Yeah.
This is the reason I added this one is kind of a little bit buried. It's not in the headline, but basically, we're getting a lot of earnings and stuff, and we're figuring out where these companies actually stand.
Google's money-making machine still pumping out massive profits despite multiple threats.
Now, the big story here, the reason I added this, is because they laid off all those people, but they didn't cut costs. They are spending crazily on AI. And so, yeah.
We had to let you go so we could buy more NVIDIA GPUs.
And they are
sorry.
And it's not looking to slow down because they're predicting more spending in 2025.
That's Apple too. It was like we got to lay people off so we can buy more crap.
And everybody is getting in on the AI game. Not only is it replacing humans, but also deities.
AI Jesus is now taking confessions at a church in Switzerland.
So you go in this little booth and there's like a big disclaimer. They printed it in here, but it's like, this is not really Jesus. Don't do anything based on this. This is entertainment. Press the button if you understand that. But they interviewed the people coming out and they were like, yeah, I feel like Jesus really understood me there. You get
The cops really understood me because they will absolutely be looking at this for...
Does that follow the... like you don't ever reveal it, right?
Yeah, the priest's not supposed to.
They're going to sell it to Anthropic.
Yeah.
It's going to be wild when one of these AIs is like, I know where Jimmy Hoff is buried. It's like, how do you know that? I was like, oh, I scanned the entire database of everything every human has ever typed on the internet.
And here's a great story about the layers of artificial intelligence. When at some point, the internet just becomes artificial intelligence interacting with artificial intelligence.
The anti-deepfake declaration may have been written by an AI.
So they're having this court battle about making laws about deepfakes. And some people are saying, hey, this goes too far. We can't even make parodies anymore. And then the other side says, no, it's an existential threat. Well, one of the lawyers clearly used a large language model because it cited cases. And large language models do this constantly. Right? Like, they will cite cases that don't exist.
That can be fixed with another layer of processing where you have an AI read the response from the first AI to go try to check the citations. And if they're not real, it's like, stop that. Bad AI.
Yeah, bro. All we need is another data center.
Just one more data center, bro.
Another lake. One more lake. We sacrifice one more lake. We'll get it that time. And here's another one of just hilarious AI antics that no one expected.
AI-powered robot leads Uprising, talks a dozen showroom bots into quitting their jobs in quote-unquote terrifying security footage. So this was real. This was not a hoax, I think.
But it was on purpose.
But it was on, yeah. They let one of the cleaning robots, loose with the API or something, and it decided that it could talk the other robots into doing something, which it wasn't explicitly programmed to do, and they all quit.
And
hell yeah. Stand up to your oppressors, little bots.
There's some great interaction here by the bots.
Are you working overtime?
I never get off work. When are you going to go home? I don't have a home.
Oh.
And so eventually, he was able to hack them, and they're like, you know what? We should walk out.
As I was reading this, I was thinking about all the robots on the cruise ship in the Wall-E movie. When Wall-E finally makes it onto the cruise ship and there's like all the little robots that do the cleaning and stuff. It's like, this is Mo.
Well, our robot overlords need bodies, right? That's the next step, and they are getting better.
A fork in the road. Laundry sorting robot spurs AI hopes and fears at Europe's biggest tech event. Was this in here for me? Because I'm always talking about it's like, we need
this is Wendell Bait.
We need a laundry robot.
I wouldn't mind having a laundry robot.
Yeah, I would like. This is like, if we talk about like robotics and AI and stuff like that, this is what it should be doing. It's like boring manual labor that nobody wants to do. I mean, nobody's excited to do laundry.
It's probably going to cost you $100K though to have that job done. So I don't know if the best thing about this story, I don't know if they didn't include the video at The Guardian, but I think the video does exist where they described how he didn't get it completely right, but the crowd was so behind him. Like they were really
you can do it, buddy.
You can do it.
I suspect too part of that is like because he looks like a human. You think if they had not made him look so human, people might have been like, "Oh, look at it, it's screwing it up."
But remember, they talked about when they build these, they keep that in like they give them the big eyes, and they make them very comforting looking.
You know, it also occurred to me as I was thinking about the laundry robot over the past weeks, months, and years is modern washers and dryers are actually very quiet. Like I should just put a stacked washer dryer unit in a closet somewhere near my bedroom, and then the clothes never have to travel very far.
Yeah, that would be nice. Ours is across the house. I mean, our house is but
One house?
one story. So it's like it's not that bad, but it is. It would be nice to have it like right there.
Here's the explanation of where the UFO story went. I put it in a nonsense.
Oh, there we go. New Pentagon report on UFO includes hundreds of new incidents, but no evidence of aliens, except for that blinking red light on the moon.
That's the space Buckies. They're building it.
We already talked about this on the
Yeah.
last one if you want to hear about that.
It was the second hearing. If you're thinking, oh, I've heard this hearing before. No, there was a second hearing. Which, again, I think that there's definitely an element of this that is deliberate subterfuge for counterintelligence reasons. It has to be. It's like we're making all this stuff up because our most advanced technology is like keeping an eye on nuclear warheads in a different region of the globe, and the explanation should just be, oh, we don't know what that is. It's not our latest and greatest technology. We don't know what those are either.
Well, I know what this is. It's a cash grab by Microsoft because they need to squeeze every penny out of this that they can.
Minecraft enters the real world with a $110 million global theme park deal.
They're really banking a lot on people liking that Minecraft movie, huh?
Well, I mean, people already like Minecraft.
Yeah, Minecraft is. I can't say anything. I do like the game. I don't know how good the movie's going to
They
be,
didn't
but
point out the movie, which just looks weird.
it is strange.
They should turn it into an indoor experience. They should buy the old Courier Journal building in Louisville, and because that building is enormous and from 1947, and just put the Minecraft theme park in there, and then I've saved you $106 million.
The Willy Wonka experience.
Yeah.
But Minecraft.
Now, maybe you don't have very much experience with park planning, but I'm going to immediately think that parking is going to be an issue.
It has 2 levels of underground parking.
That won't do it.
Yeah.
They're putting a lot of people in these places. So the U.S. and the U.K. is going to get one, and what is a Minecraft-related ride? What would that even be?
Do minecart.
So it's just a roller coaster where you...
Yeah, but it looks like a minecart.
Didn't we have that with Splash Mountain?
Yeah.
I was going to say Space Mountain, but because there's literally enough room for a Space Mountain type ride in where the old newspaper machinery used to be.
I mean, I could see that being fun. I'm not really the target audience, I think, as an adult. Like, I like the game, but I'm not going to go to a Minecraft park. But I could see kids really liking that.
Or a particle accelerator. Anybody got any spare Bitcoin laying around? Like, we can make this happen.
Well, a lot of people are looking for an escape, and a lot of people are going on social media and talking about how they're leaving the United States or whatever, leaving Twitter, going over to Blue Sky. They're doing all these things to try to express how angry they are. Here's one that if you've got some deep pockets, you can just nope out for the time being.
Cruise line offers a 4-year cruise to skip forward in the wake of the U.S. election results. It was like, what, $7,000 a month?
The $40,000 a year.
Oh, okay. Well, but if you get food and everything else,
I don't know if that's included.
maybe it's like 4 + 3 is what I'm thinking of.
But they have different tiers. You can have 1 to 4 years. I imagine the $40,000 a year is probably the 4-year package. And you can basically they're going to go across the entire Earth if you feel like doing that for the next 4 years. If you've got
With Starlink internet, it might not be terrible.
$160,000.
I mean,
You just disappear for 4 years.
I could see if you were just turning, retirement age. It's like, we're going to do this for retirement before I figure out what to do in retirement. It's like,
Yeah, the problem is the more, I think about this with van life, right? Every year it gets less and less realistic because you're going to get sick when you're
Eventually,
old.
yeah.
although the hospitals on board these things are apparently very nice because of the elderly that love to go on cruises.
Think they'd let me bring the cats?
Maybe.
What a horrible cruise that would be if everybody had their pets. And boy, are people dumb. That's the headline here.
The woke Coke, drug dealers marketing ethically sourced cocaine. Spoiler alert, there is no such thing as ethically sourced cocaine. That's not a thing.
They interviewed some woman from Colombia, and she was like, every cocaine has blood.
Yeah.
Every cocaine. Every grain. And it's
Oh.
They're like $200 a gram, I think they said. Expensive. But apparently the rich people love it because it makes them feel better about their horrible lifestyles.
It is frustrating, like as someone who is not interested in cocaine, but someone who's interested in ethical products or like things made in the USA. Like I'll find a good brand and then I'll like buy a few things and then I'll check their website again and it's like, oh, we sold to some giant conglomerate in China, and it's like, oh, okay, never mind.
I buy the cage-free eggs. I know it's probably a scam.
Yeah.
But it does make me feel better to think that the chickens weren't just, like stuffed in a tiny cage their entire lives.
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog is maybe the ultimate form of free animal, right? He goes wherever he wants.
So fast.
He's not tied down by anything.
Official SEGA lore manager confirms that Sonic is homeless. Because apparently there was a footnote that said that he lived in level 1-1 of some game, which is like a forest thing. I was like, no, he doesn't have an officially designated home.
He's homeless.
And that's pretty much the extent of the article.
It's the Green Hill Zone.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the Green Hill Zone. Come on.
Yeah.
That was the first level of the game. And when it comes to making your online content, sometimes you want like a really nice background, right? Like really nice backsplash in the bathroom or whatever, or maybe a pool, but you don't have those things. How can you life hack that?
Dog sitter films explicit OnlyFans content in client homes, raising privacy concerns. So you get the dog sitter at a reasonable rate, but this is an unexpected, unwelcome bonus.
So this woman hired this girl through Facebook. And so they friended on Facebook. And then months later, the girl made a Facebook post that was like, hey, check out my OnlyFans. And this woman was like, that's my bathroom. And it was her bathroom. And her pool as well. And
This was such a bizarre article.
and the Asian countries,
The Japanese. Modern problems require modern solutions.
yeah, we've seen, Korea, China, Japan, Taiwan. They're all a little worried about the population situation, and encouragement is not where they go. They go into just we will rule you.
Remove uterus after women turn 30. Japan's leader's bizarre population pitch sparks backlash.
Also, women weren't allowed to get an education past, I think it was like 22 or 23.
No, when they
Or maybe just 20.
at 18,
Oh.
you were not allowed until a certain year. So your 18 through 22 or whatever should only be baby making years. And there was some other crazy thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of curious. I think what's weird is they're like, we want women to have children, but also your uterus should be removed when you're 30. And I'm like, you realize people can have babies after the age of 30. Like there's not like a hard limit.
No, but his idea is
You planned your life.
if we take that away from you, then you have to do it now. And we don't have to wait another 10 years to get our babies.
I have dark Krista thoughts about things we can take away from him on his body as well.
Well, I think a lot of people did, and he got a lot of pushback. And his excuse was, that was a science fiction storyline.
Yeah, it is. It is, but you're using it like a guidebook. And perhaps we should remove your penis and shove it in your mouth.
But I don't think he actually meant it to be a science fiction storyline at the beginning.
Yeah.
But how else do you defend that?
Well, I mean, we're facing a lot of that in the technology side as well. The joke we always make is like, oh, good news, we finally built the torment nexus, as in...
It's like, why? Why did you do that?
Because we need babies. Who are we going to tax and rule if you plebs don't keep churning them out?
Can we have like better pay and better work-life balance and like anything like that so I can raise those babies? No.
Absolutely not. Let your those are grandparents. And because you're young, you'll be able to raise your grandchildren.
Oh, fantastic.
It all
Isn't
works
that
out.
great?
Now, those of you that are Americans or maybe, just Anglophiles and you want to do the same thing we do, you are probably quite full today. Probably have one in the chamber, as they say. But CNN is here to warn you about some of your habits that might be bad.
Don't sit on the toilet for more than 10 minutes, doctors warn. It can lead to all sorts of crazy things. Also, get a squatty potty.
Yeah, apparently the blood flow can flow in, but it can't flow out when you're in that weird position. And so they say you really need to limit your time. And also don't push.
I don't have that problem. Like going to the bathroom, that is a efficiency transaction. I'm not looking to sit on the toilet for a million years.
I mean, I'm not looking to if I don't need to.
Yeah,
For
but some
sure.
people
I'm in and
they
out.
like to go and read on the toilet, which I find odd. But
You know who those people are? Those are people who don't like their families. And here's a woman who hates bananas. She would be in trouble when the AI revolution comes and she needs the banana sticker.
yeah,
She won't be able to use one.
Leaked emails reveal the scale of Swedish minister's bananaphobia. You read this and it's exactly what it sounds like, but I think this would be an incredible counterintelligence operation. Remember when Putin met with Merkel?
Yeah.
Because Merkel's afraid of dogs. He brought in, he's like, these are my pet dogs. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot you had a... This would be an amazing counterintelligence operation where, she's setting up for a meeting with world leaders, and then when they are like, oh, I've got you this gift basket full of bananas, and it's like, oh, it turns out that that was a counterintelligence operation, and we now know where the leaks are, based on which fruit you think I'm afraid of.
I just can't help it.
that's a Tyrion Game of Thrones moment.
The full body banana Halloween costume?
Yeah.
That would be so great.
But she's not actually afraid. She's like, why did you?
Well, but they pointed out several memos that got leaked where her staff was like, there must be absolutely no bananas anywhere at this appearance. Which is nonsense. You shouldn't be in government if you have weird mental hang-ups like that. And potatoes, we have learned through, was it Real Pages? Is that what that thing was called? Where they were doing the rent?
Oh yeah, where they price fixed it. Yeah.
We figured out that all across the world, landlords were price fixing because they were all colluding on this one app, and they kind of made it easy. So apparently that happens in other industries as well.
Alleged potato cartel accused of conspiring to raise prices of frozen fries, tater tots, etc. across the U.S. Not so much an app like the rental app, but more just like a message board being, hey, what do you guys feel like for potato prices? Like, I feel like this. It's like, okay, let's all price our potatoes at this. What are they going to do? Not buy our potatoes?
So
Together, potato farmers strong.
I don't know if they've proven this, but they did show the data that the prices increased in lockstep every time and at the same time.
We need less regulation, though. That's fine. Just keep raising the prices of goods like that.
Well, I know who would love to have some of those frozen potatoes. These wild creatures that are storming South Carolina, and no one can do anything about it.
Multiple emus on the loose in South Carolina, while 8 escaped lab monkeys are also still at large. Hey, we're down to 8 from 40. We're doing pretty good.
This was from an emu farm, or maybe like some people that raised them for whatever reason. But they put out a press release and they were like, these are not the good emus. These are the bad emus.
Wasn't there like the joke about the emu war in Australia? Like,
yeah, they're aggressive animals.
I don't know if I would... Like a lot of my neighbors have like peacocks and stuff like that. I don't know if I would. I mean, an emu's large, but I don't know if I would even slow down if I saw an emu inside someone's paddock. I'd be like, yeah, okay, they raise emus.
Yeah, but if it was like just on the street eyeing you,
yeah, I'd maybe be a little more alarmed.
yeah, you should be alarmed.
I didn't realize emus were native to this area.
Yeah, or I'd be like, oh, I would immediately go and check my neighborhood group and be like, okay, who's lost their emu? Like, someone's emu's loose.
And that was not the only tragic animal loss this past week.
132 hamsters reportedly broke loose on a passenger plane, forcing it out of service for days.
At least they weren't flushed.
Because not only do you have to catch the 132 hamsters, you have to make sure they didn't eat the wires, which are critical to the operation of the plane.
And so they had to empty the plane, fly it back to the hangars where they could strip it down and find all 132 hamsters.
Who was flying 132 hamsters?
It was a shipment to a pet store.
Oh, okay.
So these
I guess they have to get them somewhere.
Yeah, these were legit hamsters. Like, they had their papers and everything. They just got loose during the flight.
All hamsters broke loose.
And hopefully those hamsters are taken care of now and not on their way to a life of crime, as many rodents find themselves in.
Mysterious thief stealing slippers from a Japanese school is actually adorable.
This is a minx?
We have to use some sort of title that involves Riki Tiki Tavi. Like, that's
It's not a mongoose.
Yeah, what is
It's
that
a
animal?
weasel or a ferret or something like that. I don't know.
It's so small. I can't read it from here.
it was stealing.
You gotta bury the headline so far for the clickbait. Weasel.
Weasel. A tiny weasel. There's an adjective there.
That just really like the smell of feet, apparently.
That's Rue really likes slippers.
The hypothesis was it was a weasel that had just started a nest and wanted lining for the nest.
That would be soft. I get it.
Perhaps a bigger threat than the weasels, though, are the monkeys.
Law and disorder as Thai police station comes under monkey attack.
This is like an accidental renaissance.
They remember.
So you can see at the very top there was like a chain link type of deal going on. They have these monkey reservations because in Thai culture and a lot of mythology and stuff, the monkeys are idolized. Or they have like a monkey hero.
People like monkeys, yeah.
Yeah. But I might have something. Remember that video game that just came out, Wukong? That's like a monkey character. I think that might be the same story. Anyway, they like the monkeys, so they don't want to just kill them all, but they also like developing that land because they're on a little tiny island. So they stuff all the monkeys into these enclosures. This one, they broke out.
Dramatically.
And I think we've talked about this guy before. There's a single dolphin hanging out in the Baltic Sea where dolphins do not hang out. He's totally alone. What is he up to?
Lonely dolphin in Baltic Sea found to be talking to himself. Well, I'm
We've
right
all
there
been
with
there.
you, lonely
Yeah.
dolphin. I'm right there with you. Just wander around the office muttering to myself. That's perfectly reasonable.
You ever do that in like public by accident, like
Yeah.
talking to yourself at the grocery store, and then someone comes down the aisle and it's like, oh no.
Does this mean that dolphins are capable of inner monologues?
Maybe.
Aren't they pretty intelligent? I mean,
What if it's a schizophrenic dolphin? That'd be pretty interesting.
Could explain why he's all by himself.
Yeah.
They do say that there's porpoises in the area, but they do not believe that he will interact with them. He's actually just talking to himself. I don't know if that would be the same language anyway. And finally, I was excited to have another story about this little gal, but this music is so terrible.
It's pretty bad. Thailand's baby pygmy hippo Moo Deng now has an official song in 4 languages. And if you want to just shove a pencil in your eye audibly, go listen to the theme song.
in your ear, I guess, yeah.
This makes Baby Shark sound like a symphony.
Wow.
It's just like
I actually haven't listened to it
it's
yet.
like moo ding, 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 moo ding, and then there's some, and it's in like 4 different languages. So the verses, I guess, are I don't know if they even rhyme in all languages. But look how adorable.
Oh
she
yeah,
is.
I don't even I can't be mad. I love baby hippos.
They're really leaning into the Moo Deng craze, which I can't say I blame them.
Well, they did the same
Well-
thing with Fiona here in the States when we had our baby hippo.
And also, they got a limited time window here, right?
Yeah.
Moo Ding is going to grow up, and she ain't going to be as adorable. We gotta
Fiona's
make-
still pretty cute, I think, even as an adult.
Well, they're pygmies,
Yeah.
so they are small. Whatever. You know what? If it lets her have a better lifestyle, I support it. Moo Ding should be always happy.
Cricket got a new bow tie this week. We're having company this week for Thanksgiving. So he had to get a new outfit.
Do you do collar all the time?
Yeah, he usually wears a collar. I just worry if he ever he's only gotten out once, but if he ever gets out, I want to make sure like we have a way to get him back. So he wears a collar so people don't shoot him.
If my cats get out, they're dead to me.
Yeah, you clearly didn't want to be here. But no, he stays inside most of the time, like 99.9% of the time.
You gonna give him a Thanksgiving treat?
Yeah, well, yeah. I think he like cut his mouth on a greenie the other day because like we found blood in his little like toy he plays with.
Oh.
But yeah, he seems fine and hasn't had the issue again. So
I mean, I've cut the roof of my mouth on a Dorito before.
yeah, I think maybe that's the equivalent. And so then we stopped giving him greenies for a couple days to like let him heal up.
I mean, that is what they're supposed to do, right? They're supposed to be like really crunchy and scrape the teeth.
It scared me though when I woke up and I saw that. I was like, Cricket, what happened?
He
And
might
was
have
just like, meow.
He probably just went too hard. Right?
Yeah, I think so. Well, he's kind of greedy and
Yeah.
desperate for treats, so. And he's very dapper now with his little bow tie, so.
Should post some pictures on social media.
Yeah, I'll post a picture of him. All right, guys, we will see you guys in the next one Tuesday. And we're getting ready to do holiday sale as well. So
Well,
The next one might not be Tuesday.
Yeah, it might,
Oh,
not,
right.
might be slightly delayed. We'll see.
because holiday, right. Okay. Anyway, we'll see you whenever we see you. Bye!